Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I hope you're well. In a recent Piers Morgan show, the host, Piers Morgan, invited the Israeli ambassador to the UK, Zippy Hatawali, to discuss and share her thoughts on the ongoing crisis. Usually, the host presents his views and draws conclusion at the end of the show. But here we see Piers Morgan share his one-sided opinion at the start of the show itself, depicting that indeed the people of the world are mistaken and are supporting the wrong side.
Well, I'm joined now by Israel's ambassador to the UK, Zippy Hatawali. Ambassador, thank you for coming in. It's heartbreaking.
It is.
Just to hear one mother, and there are so many. There are hundreds and hundreds of...
Just 199 of the people are now kept hostage in Gaza, and I'm thinking about young children. I'm thinking about a girl that has autism and she's disabled. I'm thinking about Holocaust survivors. I think we've never experienced anything like that as the Israeli people. We experience wars, we experience terror attacks, never since Israel was established, we experienced anything that was as barbaric as this human.
And even when the guest arrived, instead of debating her, he was seen discussing and also sympathizing with her regarding the false story she was narrating. Yes, you heard it right. It was all a false story that was narrated throughout the debate. And Piers didn't dare even cross her for any one of her claims. First, she started by playing the victim, by telling how Hamas started all of this without any reason and without any fault of their own. She said that the Israeli government is only defending itself because they don't want to face those barbaric actions again.
This is one of those moments in a nation's life that a country cannot carry on without providing the very basic obligation that every country has to its people. We need to protect our children. We are out there in Gaza not in order to revenge, not in order to punish. I don't agree with any of those definitions.
It is partly that, though.
Let me just say why we're doing that. We're doing that to make sure that my children, my friends' children, and every child in Israel will be protected. After we've seen what happened to our border, after we've seen what those barbaric terrorists from Hamas came in.
She also added that there were reports that babies were executed and women and the elderly were abused and tortured.
Those barbaric terrorists from Hamas came in and they beheaded babies' heads. I mean, the fact that those small babies, we saw in the Telegraph, wrapped in those bandages. I mean, this is something that breaks the heart of every parent, and you cannot see that. And the horrific photographs and everything documented by Hamas, the fact they put children together and burned them alive, the fact they wanted to choke people in their homes by putting them on fire, those type of barbaric actions, and I'll tell you more than that. After identifying, unfortunately, 1,300 Israelis that were brutally murdered, the people were recognizing the bodies. They said 80% of the bodies being tortured. And our president just exposed a booklet that basically showed that it was part of their way of action, that they wanted to torture the people. It was part of their terror actions, raping innocent young women, taking hostage a Holocaust survivor. I mean, this is...
Piers never once asked that the Hamas had themselves said that they had taken hostages as a bargaining chip so that thousands of Palestinians who are behind bars without any trial and hope of coming out otherwise will be released. Again, her claim of seeing mutilated bodies of babies is completely baseless, as the US has backed down from their statement that they have seen such pictures. The IDF themselves confirm that these news stories are not verified, and there is no evidence that such an incident did take place. Piers Morgan did not say a word, while he was well aware that this news had been declared unverified by the reporter herself who covered it.
When people are taking grandmothers and executing them, kidnapping young children, when they're killing babies in their cribs, we can agree that's war crime, right?
Okay, babies.
Can we?
Surely, of course, 100%.
Right.
But babies in the crib. Sorry, what's the evidence for that?
You don't believe that happened?
Sorry, CNN, the White House, Sky News, which you work for, all say it's...
I don't work for Sky News.
Well, your thing.
I didn't work at CNN.
I
saw one reporter who retracted it because she wasn't sure about the source.
It's unconfirmed by the White House.
But then the Daily Telegraph and the Jerusalem Post and other sources then did publish pictures,
CNN,
which indisputably show babies have been killed.
No, it showed one baby who's been charred, and that picture has been put up on Twitter and has been refuted by many people saying that it's actually AI.
That's completely untrue.
That is true. What's your source? What's your source?
There's been a thorough investigation into the claim that was put up there by some rogue person on Twitter that it was AI. It has been completely disproven.
Okay, let me ask you a
question. That picture, which was published on the Telegraph, is a genuine, legitimate picture.
What is your source?
Are you seriously arguing that babies weren't killed?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying, give me a source.
Yeah.
You know full well you've been fired from the Daily Mirror for fake images. So you know full well about the
I didn't accept they were fake.
Exactly. The UK government did.
Yeah, they did. Because the UK government, just to be clear, had waged, in my view, an illegal war in Iraq.
So you're allowed to go against the government, and I'm not allowed to go against the Israeli government?
Of course you're allowed to.
So tell me now, what's the source?
You seem to be making a lot of presumptions about me, Mohammed.
Yes, because you had softball questions
I was the editor.
Ambassador of
No, they weren't. I put all the questions to the ambassador. I was editor of the Daily Mirror when we opposed the Iraq war on the grounds that I believed it was an illegal war. I still believe that to this day. I think it stained this country.
Fantastic.
I don't think you even knew that.
I did know that.
Right.
But that's not the point I was making. I was making the point that if you're allowed to go against the government in their classification of an image, then if you have pro-Palestinian activists who are saying, actually, we need to see a source, shouldn't they be entitled to that?
The Daily Telegraph published on page 3.
Should they be entitled to that, yes or no?
You're talking about, the Daily Telegraph said they had independently verified the picture, Mohammed.
No, excuse me.
If you're saying that their verification is wrong.
No, excuse me. Primary source in academia, I know you've done a journalism degree, which is, frankly, it's not relevant to what we're talking about here anyway.
Probably is to journalism, yeah.
No, it's not to this conflict, but we academics require primary source evidence in order to make it.
The Daily Telegraph said they verified the picture.
That's a secondary source.
Fine. You may say
that's a secondary source.
You may say
that's a secondary source.
Well, you may say you don't think it's genuine. I don't agree with you. But the wider point.
That was my point. I said I want a source. I just want to see the evidence.
What we're arguing about here. You're not contesting that babies were killed.
No, I'm saying I want to see the evidence.
The lady further said that the morale ground of the Israeli army is extremely high, and they do not intend to harm any civilians. Rather, they have given them a safe route and have advised them to just move to a safer place until they complete their operations.
First of all, Israel is a moral country, works according to the international law, and according to the international law, we are allowing all the Palestinians to go to the south area of Gaza in order to make sure they'll be safe, including creating shelters for them with the international community organizations to make sure they will be safe.
Really? If this was true, then why have people, including small children, pregnant women, and the disabled, been snatched away from their basic necessities of food, water, and electricity? Why are reports coming that when people were moving to a safer place through that safe route, airstrikes were aimed directly at the vehicles? Why are ambulances, hospitals, schools, vans carrying medical aid and food, residential homes, and even refugee camps being targeted directly? If she is so extremely disturbed and horrified because of the torments of one day that Israel felt, then what about the feelings of Palestinians who face almost the same torment every day for 75 years? But Piers Morgan was, throughout the interview, sitting calmly and sympathizing with her claims. This is not only the case with the show of Piers Morgan, but with all the big media houses that claim that they are showing you the truth, but in fact, they are manipulating and playing with the minds of common people. When a pro-Palestinian is invited for an interview, he will be attacked from every angle possible, but not when the case is otherwise. It is so shocking and unfortunate at the same time that the media is trying with all their might to make white look black and black look white. The political leaders are showing support and solidarity to the occupier country. In reality, to support the people of Gaza, you don't need to be Muslim. You just need to be human. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us from this age of treachery and dishonesty. Ameen.